Hey, I never do controller reviews at all, but something just tickles me about like cheap controllers, and I'm actually impressed with this one, Titan PC controller. And yeah, the box is pretty small and comes in this bag, and then there's like this little instructions pamphlet with it. But I'm actually impressed with it, especially for Dark Souls. As you can see, it looks like a PlayStation 2 controller, but with Xbox layout for the buttons on the right. And for Dark Souls, this is actually a pretty good controller in my opinion, at least from whenever I've been using it, because the kick and doing like the special heavy attacks is very easy for this controller. And the only issue I have with this controller, it still works though, is that the right button, I mean, is kind of pushed in. As you see, I could do this with that one, but with the right one, so it's got like a corner, don't know if you can see it, but anyways, it's got like the corner bent in, but it still works fine. And to get it to work with Dark Souls, what I had to do was just go to manage, controller layout, and this would have been disabled, so you'll just click enable, and see it's reading like a PlayStation 3 controller, and see how I'm using it. So let's go ahead and hit B, which is circle on here, but it's in Dark Souls, it'll still be Xbox control. So I'm going to go ahead and load up Dark Souls real quick. Alright, let's go ahead and skip all of this. Start here. Alright, just going to go ahead and continue. And I don't know how I'm going to record me doing the kick with it, so where am I at? Okay, so even though the R1 is kind of pushed in right there, it still does it. Same with the R2. Then I wish I had a tripod so I could show you guys the kick. Could probably do it with one hand. Yeah, see? So R2 is going to be your light attack with it, so it's kind of like reversed with it. So this is R1 slash RB, and this is RTLT, which makes sense if this was a PlayStation 2, because back in the PlayStation 2 era, this was like your shoot button for like say Ghost Recon or Call of Duty, and L1 up here was your aim. But yeah, let's go ahead and do the special jump attack. And yeah, this controller, you see it's super easy to do the kick. And now let's go ahead and do like a, I don't know if, I mean, I guess it looks kind of stiff whenever you run in circles, so like it has an 8-point direction of turning. But still, it's like pretty smooth, and even like the sprint works. Dump. Oh, hold on. Like, oh, okay, so if you got like say one hand or something, which would suck, and you would want to like play Dark Souls, and hold on, let's do the kick again. Yeah, that's, I want to grip it. 1, 2. Oh, right. Now let's just do the heavy jump attack. Yeah, it's amazing, even with like the button jammed in there. And here, let's go ahead and use the other buttons. So this, see how it makes that satisfying click noise? While this one, how it's bent, it's silent, but works phenomenal. It's awesome. I like that. Of course, you got like the old, yeah, PlayStation stuff to where now this is going to act like the pads are here. Alright, let's turn the analog back on. Yeah, analog on, off. That's pretty neat, honestly. I like this control a lot. Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. Like, twice successfully, one hand and a kick. Dude, this controller is pretty neat, honestly. Alright, I give it a 10 out of 10 reviews. It works on Dark Souls. Let's see how it does actually on Space Marine 2, actually. So, showing you once again. Oh, I hit escape, so that's why it's got like that mouse menu. But look. See? And then right here showing that it's, the bottom ones RB and LB. Real quick. I gotta delete this character because I was trying to get the boar helm. Because, so my guy looks like a wereboar with it on. Alright. Alright, so that's Dark Souls that it could work with. Let's try a more modern game. So let's see if they have. Alright, controller. So I guess we could do controller view settings. Enable Steam input. Once again, let's make sure that is working. Okay, yep. Let's go ahead and load this up. Alright, this one's probably going to take a while to load in. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut the video until we load into like the main menu, basically. So, alright, I am impressed so far. It's showing it as like a PlayStation controller. But yeah, let's go ahead and load in now. You saw how I pressed A. Did the same thing. We enabled Steam input. So now we just gotta wait for the game to load. Look at that. This is cool that it actually works. I don't know if all. Yeah, we gotta sit through another loan screen, but I don't know if all third-party controllers work, but this one. It's pretty neat. Like, I'm very impressed. I'm going to pick up a second one just in case like the R1 button or the number 1 button. I mean, it is R1 technically since it has 1 at the top right there. It comes in, so this controller comes in black and white. I got the black one because it reminded me of my very first PlayStation 2 Slim back in 2006, which was a black PlayStation 2 Slim, and it came with the black controller. So that's why I got this. But, yeah, Titan. PC controller. There's all the nerd stuff on the back. And I'm really impressed with it. My other controller that I originally played with was this one. It's an actual plug-in. And the reason why I stopped is because the left analog stick has worn out to where whenever I press it, it'll act like I pressed LB, or I forgot what the grenade button was in Space Marine 2. But yeah, it'll also trigger this button at the same time. So, yeah, and everything on here still works fine. Right bumper is a bit stiff, kind of like how that PC one is, because how long I've been playing with this one for about 3 years or so. Left bumper works fine, our LT and RT works fine. But yeah, I just gave this one up for a while now because the left analog stick also activates, I think left bumper or LT, I forgot. No, it was the left bumper. It activates the left bumper, especially whenever I was playing Helldivers, the first game. That was a huge thing, like, and this is also touch sensitive now as well. Now I remember correctly. Yeah, this was also touch sensitive whenever I would like barely touch it. Like this is like the grenade button in it. In my like whenever I'm not like using it, I'll have like my finger down here or resting on it. And sometimes it'll be like like that little movement, which normally wouldn't activate it, activates it. So we're gonna see what this thing does. How this pairs up. That's the only thing I hate about Space Marine 2 is the long load time. But yeah, so far, you saw in Dark Souls how smooth at least the kicking and jumping was. I don't know if that is what I can't remember since I haven't played Dark Souls in a while with the controller or just Dark Souls in general. But anyways, I can't remember if that's how it is whenever you turn, that it is kind of stiff where like he does that. All right, well, looks like we're loading in. All right. Alright, let's go down to the training hall. The sprint button works. Yep. Yep, so let's go down here. And it's like a made up thing I did with my character. I just want like all the ugliest armor pieces on him. Alright, so let's go ahead. Down on D-pad works. This should be aiming. So yeah, it's like PlayStation 2. So aiming. Let's try shooting. Alright, what's the... Got that. Oh, shoot. Oh, gosh darn it. I have to hold my phone with my feet or something. Okay, so... Melee. What is the melee button? Was it this? Yeah, okay. So that works. And then the parry button works. And then B, or circle, as it's got it as like a... Where'd it go? Circle, as it's got it, is like going to be the grenade, so B. I'm impressed, man. Alright, let's see if it pauses. Okay, yep. Pausing works fine. Alright, let's push in the sprint. Alright. Hold on. I'm trying to watch the camera and it's in my head at the same time. Alright, let's go ahead and sprint again. Yeah, so we got the sprint button to work. Sprint works. Alright, let's go ahead and sprint again. There we go. Alright, gonna do one more sprint real quick. Holding the controller normal. Yep, stops. Back up. Sprint. Parry. Aiming. What does Y do? Oh, right. And that's reload, so let's shoot something. Let's go ahead and reload it. So yeah, I give this controller a 10 out of 10, even though it's like an old, very old model. Well, not very old. 2004, maybe. Whenever the PS2 came out, so yeah. Played that when I was 6 years old. So 20 years ago. So a 20-year-old controller design. And it works perfect, man. I really like it. So let's go ahead and turn the analog off. Yep, now it's acting like the right buttons without the analog on. Let's go ahead and turn that back on so we can... Alright, I'm still on that, so I gotta press Y/triangle. And yeah, pretty neat.